Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is a mixture. This is not a replacement for my Sunday orchid chat, but there's some chat to go on, and yeah, various bits. Most of you will have heard in previous videos that Hannah was down for the weekend. Part of that plan was, because she works all week, she can only see me at weekends, and she decided she wanted to take me out for a meal for my birthday on the grounds that I'm an awkward cuss and can't think of any presents that I'd actually want. So she said, let's go out for a meal for a change. So we did. The place I chose, looking at the websites and various menus and stuff, we had to drive past it after I picked her up, on the way to here. We had to drive past it, so we called in to have a look at the menu, because I said, the trouble is on the website you get the menu, yes, but I suspect they've got a specials board. A lot of pubs have a chalkboard with today's specials on, or chef's specials, that you don't see on the website. So we called in to see what sort of stuff they do. And yes, they do have specials, and they were all virtually freshly caught seafood. So that would have come in Muddyford Quay, probably that morning. So nice fresh seafood. That's not what we had, but it was there. So while we were there looking at the menus and the board, we booked it for Saturday evening. Nice and early, because I know a lot of people when they go out to eat, they eat like 8 o'clock. If I eat like that, I can't go to bed till midnight, because it'll just lay on my stomach. So Hannah was fine to book the table early. So yeah, so we got there early and had a nice little table for two, not far away from the log burner, but not close enough that your knees start going red. And the food was excellent, highly recommended, and we will go back. That was enjoyable enough to do again without having to have a special occasion, quite honestly. It was very, very nice. I had a steak and ale pie, fresh seasonal vegetables. They source all their vegetables locally where they can, and fries, and their chef's special gravy, which was pretty special. And I couldn't eat it all, and that's unusual for me, because normally when you go to a restaurant you end up eating it and thinking, well that was nice, but could have done with a bit more. Those chefy portions. You got mange tout, you get two, don't you, slightly crossed over with a little dribble of green stuff on it. No, it was a good plateful, and I didn't quite finish mine, I must admit, but Hannah finished it for me. Yeah, so nice night out, excellent. And then up pretty early on Sunday morning, off to the orchid show. What can go wrong? Well, many things can go wrong with a show. Huge big list of stuff to take with me. There's the front desk boxes, the sound system, microphones, sound system stand. That's easily forgotten, so you end up with a speaker on a table or something instead of on its nice tall stand. Plants, to get some orchids ready to take. And halfway there, Hannah said, "Did you pick up your camera?" And there was an unearthly silence while it sunk in, no, I didn't. So apologies, I didn't take my camera. Therefore there is no video of the show. But what I did arrange is Hannah has taken quite a lot of stills, and hopefully she can get those to me relatively quick, and then I can put those together as like a slideshow with some music, so at least you get a feel for what the show is like. I know it's not the same as a video, but that's what there is. You can't have what there isn't. So that was that. The show went off. Bearing in mind, it's a brand new venue we haven't been to before. The traders hadn't been there before, they had to find it, where to park, all that sort of stuff. All went smoothly. Around, well, just over half the cost of the other place we used to go to. And in addition, they let us have the key the night before so that we could get some stuff in and start putting tables and stuff out and not have quite such a panic on Sunday morning. I mean, that was brilliant. And the room that all the tables and chairs and everything came out of, next time, we didn't do it this time, but next time, it's big enough and separate, we can do our potting demonstrations and repotting in there, separate from the hubbub of the actual sort of show. So that's brilliant. We pay one price for the whole place, basically, and that is a large hall, not as large as the one we used to have, but large enough, and full catering kitchen with big hatches, you know, both sides, and another hall the other side, a smaller one, where we put all the tables and chairs out for people to eat and have drinks and have a sit down and have a natter sort of thing. So yeah, the place is good. Nice entrance facility, nice sort of swish doors, you know. Yeah, and the real bonus for me, because if this hadn't happened I'd have been stuck on the door a lot of the day, but my friend Paul turned up. Now he was temporary treasurer for a while, taking over from somebody who left basically, and he said, I can do it, but I can only do it for a short while. But he quite likes doing the door because he likes to be busy, and the door is busy. So he sat in on the door for me, and when he does that I can turn and walk away because it is in absolutely brilliant hands. I'll get everything itemised, totalled up, bundled up, you know, back in the bags, back in the tins, everything accounted for at the end of the day, which should be my job. All he ought to do really is just throw all the money in a box with a couple of, you know, receipts and some notes saying how many came in the door and stuff like that, and leave me to sort it all out. But he tries to do his best and get it all ready for me. And for the first time in a while the catering section balanced, all bar 10p, but 10p too much in the float, therefore the actual profit was 10p down. So I just flick that over, you know, big deal. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds, 10p don't matter, does it? Anyway, so I've got one, I sat down this morning and pottered away, counting money and entering it into the proper day book, not the scribbly one in the notebook. And the only thing left to do really is Peter White Orchid Accessories usually comes to our show and brings bags of bark, moss, orchid fertilisers, pots. I was going to say pots and pans then, but sundries, you know, that's what he sells basically. And he couldn't come this time, so what we arranged to do was buy some stuff from him and just sell it ourselves. So we had a load of his stuff, and then Lawrence Hobbs, who was there, we had some stuff from him, and this is where I haven't got the book straight yet, because I don't know, I know how much money I've got, but I don't know what it's for. You know, I don't know how much we bought off of each of those two, and how much of it was sold, and how much is left over, because what's left over goes back into stock. You know, it's an expense, but it's, you know, it doesn't turn around and be a profit. It's stock, which will be the shop for the meetings. People want a little bag of bark and stuff like that. So yeah, I've still got some book work to do, but I'm waiting on Lynn. And I said in the email, don't you dare start rushing around trying to do this. You know, we've got 2 weeks till the next meeting, and it doesn't even really have to be done by then. I'd rather it was, because I'm going to get another load of money coming in for various things at the next meeting. I'd rather get the show out of the way. But given how much profit we made back in March in the old place, we probably made 4 times as much this time. Very, very profitable day, given the lower expense of the hall. We had far more people through the door because it's a better place. People can, it's more visible, it's more accessible. Catering did well, and the raffle did well. So the income's up, and the shop really boosted it, quite honestly. And good old Lawrence, I said to Lynn, how much do we owe Lawrence for the stuff? And she said, well, I'm going to have a word with him about doing it as sale or return, because he's here. So what we don't sell, hopefully he'll take back. And we'll owe him for what we sold, sort of thing. Obviously we bumped it up a bit to make a bit of a profit, and he gave us a discount sort of thing, so you know that went together. And I went to Lawrence and said, how much do I owe you? And he went, donation to the society, can't be bothered with the paperwork. So all of what Lawrence gave us, what we sold is pure profit, and what's left goes in stock into the shop. So a good day, quite honestly. It went well, because it's worrying when you've got to account for all of the bits of money flying around all over the place, you know. So, but yeah, it's all sort of worked out good. So that was that. I think Hannah sort of enjoyed herself, because she can get quite bored at a show, because I end up talking to people I haven't seen, people come and ask you questions and things like that, and she's sort of hovering. And at this show she hardly knew anyone, but I saw her chatting away to several people that she's probably never met before, so I think she had a reasonable time. And then I took her home straight from the show and then came back here. So as a consequence, I wasn't back quite as late as I would normally be on just a normal weekend of Hannah being here, because we always have a nice meal on, you know, sort of towards Sunday evening, and I don't like driving straight after a meal, so she normally gets back at a reasonable time for work the next day, and I get back quite late, so that, you know, I was back a bit earlier. And I suppose you've been sitting there listening on to that thinking, make with the orchids, man, make with the orchids. I did buy some orchids, I have got some new orchids, we'll have a look at those now. I'm going to have to move the tripod. They're in a bag. It's not an unboxing obviously, because they've come from a show. I've got something that when I walked in the door, it was one of those, I'm having that. And there were quite a few of them. It was something that Lawrence had just got in. He said these are new in, so you won't see these around much. Burnham's didn't have them, so they've either chosen not to get them, or they haven't got them in yet, or whatever. But Lawrence had these. They are unusual and just my colours. The other plant I've got, a little bit expensive, but you have to bear in mind we get a discount as members of the society. If we buy at the show, we get quite a bit knocked off. So it was nowhere near what the price tag says, because not only do we get a percentage discount from Arthur at Burnham's, but we get a Roger discount on top of that. Oi! I love Arthur, he's a great guy. Anyway, so I got another plant which I've had before, and I didn't lose it, but it wasn't doing well and was going downhill a bit, so it went to other people. And I had a chat with Arthur about the possibility of why it wasn't doing well, and we came up with the fact that he's just split up quite a lot of the large specimen versions of this, and they split them all up and they keep some of the divisions back. So he said this lot of divisions is all there is. There won't be any more for about another 3 years when we grow the others on and they're big enough to do this again. So he said when these are gone, they're gone. We won't have any more for sale for quite a while. And I had a look at the splits and they all look very, very similar. And then the eye just kicked in and I thought, hello, I think Arthur probably put one of the ones they meant to keep out instead of the others, because nearly all of the others had one growth in bloom and possibly the start of another growth. This one's got 3. But it's a replacement for something that wasn't doing very well at the other place. Chatting with Arthur, we worked out exactly why it wasn't doing very well at the other place and why it should do quite well here. In Burnham's, they keep these plants up one end of the cool greenhouse, the cool long greenhouse. And he said up that end there's no heating at all, but he said there is a greenhouse either side of it and there's residual heat comes through. But he said we get a cold snap that can go down to 6 or 7 degrees, and I'm thinking to myself, I should do alright in here. It's probably going to feel tropical in here compared with that. Anyway, move the camera, let's see what we got. You're going to like one. Well, you might like them both, but you're going to like one. So I will move that as gently as I can. Somewhere about there. here a bit. Why do I always do that up so tight? Somewhere back there I reckon that'll do. Right, and I shall put the bag on the floor and then I shall pick plants up one at a time and we'll have a look at them. Oof. There is something extra in here that's actually Hannah's. Right then, plant number 1. Get this flipping thing off. That's how scissors should cut. I don't need that because that's not what I paid for it. Now this is a Miltonia. It's not a strong, huge, big, healthy plant. It's a 2-bulb plant. Yeah? The latest bulb being slightly larger than the old one, and the latest bulb is the one with the spike. It's not in muck. It's in something reasonable, or it appears to be. It also appears to be a bit dry as well. Could do with the water, possibly a feed. But yeah, that's what I walked in the door to. So a deep yellow Miltonia with those reddy pinky tinges around the edge. I like that a lot, an awful lot. Buds still to open, so you know the spike will get. There's another 3 buds to open on there if nothing goes wrong. And actually, there's another tiny little bulb buried in there, so it's actually got a tiny little extra bulb as well. So that's number 1. It's got no name, although it's probably come from one of the mass producers. Well, if Lawrence has got it, I can say it definitely has. So there might be a trade name lurking around with it, but I doubt if there's a registered name. Quite honestly, whoever's produced that cross, if they don't register that, they're a fool. That warrants registering. It's unusual enough in the Miltonia range of blooms to warrant registering that colour, that combination. So up to them though. They don't like registering it because it gives away what's in the cross. The downside of this, which hopefully won't be a downside here with my much lower temperatures, it's a very close relative, given what the makeup of it, to Nellie Islas. You can probably see the resemblance, at least in the shape. Anyway, so that's plant number 1, a Miltonia of no definitive name. But what's in a name? I'm not that fussed. You know, there's some people wouldn't have got that because it's an unidentified hybrid. You know, but blow it. And then the next one. And actually, let's get these 2 out first. This is, Hannah wouldn't take these home. She didn't want them really, but a member had a bucket full of these flipping things. It's even got buds on. They're Berryoda kikis, and Hannah said, I'm not going to be able to grow dendrobiums. I've tried before. I said, well, you might actually not do too bad with these because, you know, these at least half of them is a cool grower. But she said, no Dad, I haven't got the time or the patience to mess about growing kikis on. Quite honestly, nor have I. But, you know, as Hannah's was given them by a member, you know, so we will at least try and get them going. So those are Berryoda kikis. One's got quite a strong new growth coming. And as I said, it's even got flower buds on it. And another not so strong one. I'll just chuck them in a pot and we'll see what happens. But they're, strictly speaking, they're not mine. And then the last one, when I took it up to Arthur to have a chat about it, he said, you're going to want me to wrap that up, aren't you? I said, well, I can't unwrap it if you don't wrap it up, can I? It sees me coming, that's the problem. So this is quite a large plant, and it's a coelogeny. So 1 or 2 people might know what it is by guessing on the grounds that they kept kept tabs with the plants I've had in the past and know which ones went to other people. I did actually get this to bloom when I had it, but then it started to fail, so it went to somebody else quickly before it failed completely. You didn't have to use quite this much paper, Arthur. We're getting there. These even wrap the blooms. Oh, they'll fluff up again. And there's still buds to open, so that's good. Right, that's an awful lot of paper and junk, so we'll dispose of this. And that's a bag full of junk. Right, so what have we got then? That's what we've got, Coelogene moriana, and that's classed as one of the big whites. There is a set of Coelogene that fit into that definition, the large white, big whites, and well, yes, they're all white, but they are quite considerably larger than your average Coelogene. Some Coelogenes have quite small blooms. But why I sort of grabbed this one, first of all, it is out in bloom. I'll see if I can hold up one of the blooms and get it close enough so that you can see inside. Because they're a sort of bell shape, they don't open flat. But the colour inside the lip is absolutely stunning. And it's hairy. If you can, I hold it slightly sideways, maybe it's, I don't know whether it's focusing or not, I can't see. But yeah, so we had a flower spike. The bulb behind the one that's currently got the shoot coming off of has also bloomed. So what have we got then? We've got a mature bulb here, another one here, another one here. This one is pushing out 2 shoots, one of which has got a flower spike, and then it's branched off to the side here with another large bulb, and that has a new growth. So this is a good plant, this is a good division. And like Arthur said, he got hold of it and he went like that and he said they're all well rooted, and it is. It's well rooted in. So I haven't got to worry about, you know, wobbly plants and waiting for it to root. So there we go. Nice plant. The only downside is Arthur said the fact that those 2 new growths have actually started to open at the top, they may not bloom. He said they might be blind, but they should produce nice large growths and bulbs and will bloom next time. If they don't this time, they will next time. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, these Coelogenes, they produce what looks like a new growth, and then it stops growing and the spike comes out the top and blooms, and then the spike dies back and the growth then carries on and produces leaves and swells up and produces a bulb. So, you know, the blooms seem to sort of come out halfway in the development. So, yeah, I'm pleased with that plant. And as I said, it is a replacement, but it's a replacement that's a nice, strong, healthy plant. It's well rooted in the pot. These were potted up early this year, so there's certainly no need to even think about repotting that. And yeah, we should do well with it, I think. But yeah, that flower's a little bit bent, but never mind. So we'll wait and see. But we did get some damage. Accidents happen at the end of the day. The plants I took in was the yellow cymbidium, the zygopetalum, the little species oncidium down here, and my Victoria Regina dendrobium. And unfortunately, when we were packing up to come home, that got shut in the car door, unfortunately, and the top of one of the canes got a little bit mashed. Now, it was the cane with the most blooms on, the tallest one, you can see it in the distance there probably, and it squashed some of the blooms and it may have crushed the cane a little bit, but the top of that cane has actually finished blooming. It's not going to bloom on the top of that cane again. It may bloom farther down, but it's not going to bloom there. So at worst, you know, I've lost some blooms, possibly squashed the top of a cane, but I haven't lost any future buds. So not as bad as it could have been. But yeah, when when you've had a long day, and you know, in my case, my back was killing me because I'd forgotten to sit down again and spent nearly all the day on my feet. But then I had a nice long drive to take Hannah home, followed by a drive to get me home, which is all sitting down. So by the time I got home, my back problem had gone away, and it's certainly not there this morning. So there we are then, 2 new orchids. Let's get them updated in my notes and chuck these kikis in a pot sometime. What they need first of all is to go in some water. So we'll chuck them in the bowl. There's some leftover water in there. But it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's pure water or whether it's got some feed in. It's just to just make sure these are well hydrated before they go in bark. And yeah, a good day out, and came home with prezzies. So there we go. And I'm sure people are going to like this one. How can you not like that colour combination? It's really good. So there we go. And that was it, and that was the day. And it's the dreaded day today, isn't it? Halloween. I've got a smashing Halloween card, animated card. That was absolutely stunning. Thanks, Gail, again. But next door have decorated the shared driveway. So I don't quite know what's going to go on out here tonight, but if there's any trick or treating at my door, they'll be sent packing. That is not a UK thing. We don't need that here, legalised begging. I hope they just have some fun, you know, and do scary faces and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully it's that. And hopefully it's not all the neighbourhood coming to here. But we shall see. It's only once a year, isn't it? And then after that, you know, 5 days later is firework night, and my cats are petrified. But and I don't know what firework night is like around this area because I moved in December, so I missed it last year. So I don't think people have got money coming out their ear holes this year in the current climate to go chucking it away on setting fire to things, making bangs and pops and whizzes. But that remains to be seen. But my cats really are petrified of the fireworks, so it doesn't do them any good at all. Anyway, enough waffling. It's lunchtime. It means I would like some lunch. And I'll get this processed and get this loaded as soon as I can. And if and when Hannah sends some pictures through from the show, as I say, I'll put something together so that you at least get an impression of what the show was like. And again, apologies for forgetting my camera, but I did have a hell of a lot to take and get loaded up in the car, and you know, it just got forgot basically. So be it. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.